This is just an amazing conference. I've been to journalism conferences all over the world, and this is a really special one. I've been so impressed by the people here and the conversation. I think everyone who came together for these 2 days at the Power of Storytelling is really motivated by the same questions, which is, how do we reach people with our stories? There was an incredible diversity of speakers. We heard from all kinds of different disciplines, from everything from print journalism to radio and TV journalism to broader communications and marketing. But there were so many interesting ideas that I think everyone's feeling really energized and excited about things that they've learned that they want to go home and try. The inverted pyramid is this traditional way that many young journalists are taught to write a story, with all the information at the top, and then you put less and less important information down at the bottom. I think this is a terrible way to tell stories, because basically what you're doing is you're saying, all you have to do is read the beginning of my story. After that, everything is unimportant. So you're training a reader to quit your story halfway through, and I think that's a shame. I think really good storytelling gives you a reason in the beginning. Maybe it's a mystery, maybe it's a question, maybe it's a conflict, something that you don't know how it will resolve. So a good story will have that in the beginning, and then we'll wait till the end to tell you how it concludes. That's the way most drama, novels, narratives work. But for some reason in journalism, we do this opposite thing, where we tell a story in this way where people are supposed to quit our stories, and I think that's too bad. So I would love to see us use more new formats and different kinds of storytelling instead of that traditional inverted pyramid. Right now in American newspapers, we don't really think it's generally a good idea to use to talk about me, the reporter, to say, I saw this, I did this. Even at the New York Times, people sometimes make fun of us for saying a reporter witnessed this event when the reporter is writing the story. It's artificial. And one of the things that I think has really changed in today's internet landscape is that everyone is writing. People write their own stories on Facebook or in blogs, and the tone of writing has really changed. So today, when I think about what we could do differently, I like to read old journalism for examples of things we can do. And I was reading some dispatches from the Spanish Civil War, and was reading it and noticed that the reporters there only had their notebook. They didn't have phone calls, they didn't have satellite communications, they didn't have the internet. And so their stories were really just stories of witness, everything they saw. The children who'd been hurt, buildings that had collapsed, the struggles of the people on the street. And that was what their story was about. And they're so powerful. And when I look at our most powerful stories today, it's when a journalist is really performing this act of witness. And I would hope that as the tone and style of journalism develops in the next decade, that we would see more of that writing style of a voice of witness, which is not only a huge tradition in journalism that's really effective, but also the way that normal people talk today on the internet. And so I think there's room for them to come together for better storytelling. I think that the most important skill for a journalist today is actually a really old skill. I think the most important thing a young journalist can do is learn what makes a good story. That's the hardest thing. I mean, when you're starting out, it's easy to look at a topic and think, oh, that's a story, but it's too vague, or to find some little personal detail in your life and think it's really important for everyone when it's not. So no matter what technology has changed, the most important skill is knowing what makes a great story. Beyond that, I think there's something additional that new journalists can be learning. And I think it's really how to learn. I can't predict what technologies are going to be important in 5 years or 10 years. But if you're a young journalist and you're willing to try new things and experiment and measure the results of those experiments, you'll always be able to understand what's effective as technology changes really quickly. So storytelling and experimenting.